Unidentified that they ran earlier. Eden now coming through with a dive composition, which can work out quite nicely. I think that they should probably be running a Moira instead of that Zenyatta for some burst heal potential to try and get those dives and survive through the spam. But a nice early pickoff from Kubla could give them the opportunity they need.
Oh, Kubla going up into the... Oh, Squishy getting a very tough situation there, just completely wedged in, not able to escape, also discorded. We do see Senticle trying to make something out of it, but gets D-Mech. Kubla Arteria comfortable on the point, as ATK.unIDentified have to back off there. That was probably the most scuffed play-by-play I've ever given, but let's give it to eN.E.D.E.N for a non-scuffed victory on the first point.
I mean, somebody's got to be not scuffed, right? And if it's going to be between the casters and the teams, I think it should be the teams.
I'm going to have to agree with you there, but Tentacle out of position and 20
Oopsie.
almost eating a rocket as well. Squishy looking for blood. Chad right behind him with the damage boost.
Looking pretty strong, yeah, Eden. Nice, good first push there. Despite my reservations about your Moira, or rather your lack of a Moira, you were able to clean up that fight quickly and not even take any damage. Luke, oh my word.
As you say that, we see Luke just getting one and ending up falling, as well as a res coming out. Kubla diving in pretty deep, but he's going to be taking a lot of damage. Senticle dueling with Dizzy in the skies, and Kubla is so low. Grifflet makes sure to use the Transcendence to keep him alive, and this is a little bit of a topsy-turvy fight. I mean, whoa, oh, that's a big dragon.
Oh, my word.
It's exactly what Unidentified needed.
It shouldn't have gotten any value though, and it's so unfortunate that two people did actually get caught in it. But this payload is still slightly moving. Arteria, get out of there. Nice. He does manage to get away and not get staggered, and that of course is a huge boon for them. Energy coming through here. They just have the sound barrier. Unidentified have every ultimate under the sun except for the Hanzo one that they just used. So they are looking pretty good here. Eden are going to have to really pull together if they're going to continue on in this streets phase.
And talking about that, 20 swapping over to the Widowmaker, but Shapeshifter making sure that means absolutely nothing. He's discorded, but he is still angry. 11 health, and he does end up falling. Senticle picking up the kill, but Chad right there to res his monkey. As Senticle keeping his team alive from the poke that's coming in. And right now, Eden, let's see what 20 can do.
But what can 20 do? We all do enjoy watching him click on a few heads. He's going to have to deal with Squishy and try to keep shutting him down before he can get that barrage off. Possibly try and deal with that Mercy as well before the ultimate, the Valkyrie, comes through here.
Oh, but Squishy, just out of my sight, comes in with a massive rocket barrage, picking up the mech and another Lykaluk. Michaelele making sure that he does not exist over here. And eN.E.D.E.N having a little bit of trouble here.
Words are hard.
Very difficult.
You know what? The dive should work theoretically, but I'm wondering if they shouldn't be trying for a Moira floats. I feel like that could actually give them a little bit more just ways of dealing with all of the spam damage. Of course, the increased healing from the Brigitte and the Moira could help to deal with this. For the moment, they are just consistently getting shut down by Unidentified's DPS heroes. They're not getting too much value out of their own. 20 now swapping over onto Tracer, so quite a few swap-offs have been happening, and it's a little bit unfortunate because ult economy goes out the window, and here we go for another blade.
Here we go, Dragon Blade comes in, Dizzy gets demeched, and Dragon Strike right on top of him, but down Sponge goes as well. Looks like this could be it as he picks up Dizzy out of mech. Right now, Kubla coming in with his very own Baby Rage, jumping right onto the point. Takes down Shapeshifter alongside Lykaluk, and eN.E.D.E.N are going to make it through the second point of Numbani.
Finally, they do get to the second point, but things are looking a little bit dire because already they have less time than what Unidentified did. They're going to be moving through, once again, through this point here, trying to get to the end. They only have the beat and the Transcendence, but on Unidentified side, they do have the barrage as well as yet another Baby Rage, as you like to call it. Looking very strong on this defense. I don't know how Eden is going to deal with this.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, talking about how is Eden going to deal with this, and then you see Grifflet fall to Michaelele. Senticle has swapped over to the Mei, though. That might make quite a bit of a difference in this push.
I mean, assuming somebody actually gets a pick. I'm happy to see that they've made the swap off onto a more goats type composition. But again, it is the Mei goats, and I'm not too sure how that's going to work on attack. The Mei is very good on defense. If they can build up some good ult charge here for that Blizzard, then it could really be the game changer that they need. I think I would have probably preferred possibly a Sombra to, once again, that EMP could be huge, but it will be the Mei instead, and a nice Dragon Strike to open it up.
Yeah, Unidentified here doing quite well though. 20 getting off the pick onto Squishy gives Ed.E.N a little bit of an entrance onto this. We did see Dizzy not able to provide any utility as he was stuck in the top room. And 20, oh, there we go. There is the defensive ultimate from Arteria. They're going to be pushing forward. 20's got a lot of charge, and Dizzy is going to fall out of the mech, allowing for them to get quite a bit of push here. As long as Michaelele doesn't fall, it gives ATK.unIdentified another defense.
Well, this payload is moving on through. We are nearly at the end now. And we've got Shapeshift in the back line. Don't know what you were doing there, friend.
Yeah, that's out of position.
Out of position.
Oh, Blizzard comes out and the grabs on search to make sure that they cannot touch. Michaelele looking very low with the Discord orb on top of him. But Chad dancing on the payload. Although, sorry man, your moves are not enough.
He doesn't have the moves like Jagger, so unfortunately he wasn't able to save the day for his team. Now we are going to swap sides, bearing in mind that Unidentified have about 2 minutes on Eden for this attack. Good thing none of the teams got it in overtime, because of course that would just make it 10 times worse, and then you only have to get one tick, and it's a mission. So both teams will have an opportunity to push here, but Eden only having 1.5 minutes to Unidentified's 3.5, and that can make all the difference in the world, because having more time means building more ultimates, and it means more openings that you can create for yourself. And we still okay, so let's see, what kind of comps are we looking at here? So it looks like we are going to be seeing the floats. Okay, cool. Floats on attack. It's fine though, because Unidentified are not running floats themselves. They are in fact running a Torbjorn and a Pharah along with the Orisa. Nice bunker comp here. Interesting to see a bunker comp without a Batiste, but yeah, this can still work. Hopefully the attack that we see from Eden is going to be strong enough to deal with this Torbjorn. I was telling these teams a little earlier before the game started about Clockwork Vendetta and their Torb one trick team winning Open Division. Maybe they felt inspired, and let's see, maybe they can bring the same thing to the table that we saw in the grand finals earlier today.
Well, let's hope so. We do see that it is Sponge on the Torbjorn. I've seen his Torbjorn before. It is something to be reckoned with, and Squishy in the air to make sure that they can attack from all directions. Dealing quite a bit of damage to the front line, but it doesn't look like it's enough just yet, as eN.E.D.E.N is going to start moving forward. Kubler taking a bit of damage. Squishy picking up Grifflet does give them the opening that they need. Michaelele is getting low, and Senticle, how are you in that mech still? Okay, making sure he doesn't stay in that at all. And look at this crossfire coming in from this turret. Oh, what? Squishy is... That was quite the rocket barrage.
That was a really quick barrage as well. They're not too concerned about wasting ultimates here, because I mean, Squishy built up that barrage in one fight. So with only 30 seconds left, I think Unidentified are feeling pretty strong here. Energy, only one player above 50% ult charge. They don't have time to build anything up. It's not looking good. This next push is going to be their last attempt.
And over here, Chad has scouted out exactly where they are. Has Valkyrie, does use it, as Michaelele gets a cheeky headshot onto 20. If we're talking about Lucky Luke being the cheeky one, Michaelele has to take second place in that Molten Core. All over the point and on top, making sure that not much can come of this. Turret does fall, but Shapeshifter is just mowing through the side of Ed.E.N. Tentacle, last one to fall though. Oh, Grifflet sneaking up behind me there with Coalescence. Not able to hold it out for Ed.E.N.
Eden trying their best here, but unfortunately that's not how you deal with these types of bunker compositions. You need a lot more spam damage if you're going to effectively deal with it. But I suppose they were expecting Unidentified to be running a similar composition to what they were running on defense that first time, with quite a lot of spam, and now they rolled on, and no spam.
Yeah.
So the composition that they were running was fiercely ineffective, and with only a minute, there really wasn't too much time to make the necessary swap. So very unfortunate here for Eden. They are going to have to try to full hold for a full 3.5 minutes.
I mean, if any team in South Africa is going to do it, it is going to be Eden. But against Unidentified, is it really going to be enough? Are they going to be able to? As much as they are probably the most qualified? I mean, looking at this comp, they might just.
They might just. In fact, this is scarily close to the Clockwork Vendetta composition. You swap out that Bastion for a Torbjorn and that Diva for a a May, and you've basically got the Clockwork Vendetta composition. So let's see. I'm glad to see that they are running the Batiste here, because it's gonna give so much healing for the bunker itself, right? To keep it alive as much as possible. So we'll see if that is as effective as I expect it's going to be.
And looking in, Sponge on the Sombra is going to be able to scout this out beforehand. Squishy looking a little bit comfortable here on the Genji.
Hello, backcap. Is this a thing?
Oh, no, he gets yoinked from Lycaluke and he has to translocate out of there. Lycaluke takes a lot of damage, but Grifflet is there alongside his Take a Breather, and Shapeshifter just gets gunned down from 20 on the Bastion. Out comes the Lamp from Arteria, and Squishy's not going to be able to do much in the backline, has to fall. But managing to stay alive, only just Centicle takes him out. Or Lycaluke, actually. But how did you do that, Lycaluke?
Big hooks coming through from this amazing flex DPS player. And they are managing to hold fairly strongly here. 2.5 minutes left. They do completely nullify this first push, but we do see Unidentified are running that Sombra. And of course, once Sombra gets that EMP, ooh, that's when it starts to get dangerous.
Dangerous is going to be Sponge. Busy dealing with Lycaluke. Has to back off, but that's going to use up quite a bit of resources here. 20. Still looking comfortable. Arteria just gunning down the pathway there. And out comes a little bit of a hook. Not quite landing anywhere, but Shapeshifter dives directly on and gets taken out instantaneously. Lamp is still very healthy up there as the whole team is low. Dizzy's going to try his best to take out 20, but he's not going to be able to. And this is a bit of a clown fiesta up on the high ground right now. But 20 could be coming out on top. Squishy needs to get out, and he's not quite able to. Ultimates are ready to go for Energy Eden.
Griff is pocketing the ever-living hell out of 20 on this Bastion, keeping him alive through so much damage. But let's take a look here, ladies and gentlemen. We have EMP, we have Dragon Blade, we have Nano Boost. Not looking too good for Eden on this next push, because they don't have any defensive ultimates. They do have the Immortality Field, which might be able to help, but against the Nano Boost, I highly doubt it. The Batiste defense, or rather damage matrix, is going to come through here, and hopefully that's going to shut down Unidentified.
So, I mean, like Luke using Whole Hog to take out Michaelele does stall them out a little bit. I can see they don't want to enter into this fight without the Transcendence, but I mean, a minute left on the clock. There's still enough time for ATK.unIdentified to do this.
Absolutely, there's enough time, especially if they can get that EMP Nano Blade off. As soon as that comes through, it's going to be quite the difficult situation for Eden to try to hold against. And now we're going to see the...
there we go! EMP comes out, Dragon Blade! We also see the Primal Rage as well. Tentacle does drop a bomb, though, taking out Chad. Michaelele comes in with Transcendence, making sure that they can keep this point alive. Although Michaelele has to duel Luke right now, and he doesn't manage to do so. Sponge on the point alone. Grifflet is hacked and stuck on the high ground, unable to move, but like Luke's still gonna get the healing he needs. There we go, Dizzy with the self-destruct, gonna make sure Luke blows up, and Grifflet is the last one alive of Energy Eden. Arteria jumping right back onto the point, and Squishy's gonna make short work of him. 20 comes in with configuration tank, but it's not quite enough as Kubler tries to keep the dream alive. Is Numbani still a hoax? To Energy Eden it is.
Jeez, crazy game here, and Unidentified taking the second map as well as the first map. I mean, it's looking a little grim for Energy Esports as we move into this third map and potentially final map. We're going to be looking at a Brigitte play the game here. It's always nice to see the supports get some love, even if it is Brigitte.
Even if it isn't really a support. But very well played to both sides. Evening up the scoreboard, 1-1. This is where things start getting spicy and exciting.
I mean, this is the content we came for. We wanted to see these two titans tear at each other's throats until, we'll turn Overwatch into a battle royale and let's see which is the last team left standing.
I mean, with the workshop, they've done that now. But, hey. Of the many things they've done, like the Bastion tanks that shoot Torbjorns, yeah, that's the thing now.
I don't know why that's a thing. That's a very unfortunate thing to be a thing. Although it is very entertaining to watch. Speaking of things that are entertaining to watch, we're going to be moving on to our next map, and it is going to be an assault map, which I believe it's either going to be Paris or Anubis. And I'm very curious to see what map which map Eden are going to pick as we move on to this next map.
So I suspect the Temple of Anubis. The only reason I'm saying that, and this is based off of no information as to what either team prefers, is just because Paris is a terrible map. Although, consider me wrong, as Paris it is.
In fact, Paris is fairly decent for some bunker-esque type compositions. The thing about Paris that makes it so annoying is just how diverse it is. Very much like Rialto, when Rialto first came out, and people didn't really understand the map geometry too well, and it took a while to get used to it before people started to realize that it is actually a decent map. First Point Paris is so open. You can run so many different compositions. There's possibility for Pharahs and flankers, or less so much flankers, but just there's wide open space that you can utilize. Whereas you move on to the second point, and there it becomes more about you can have bunkers and you can have lots of flankers. This is where the flankers comes in, because there are so many different avenues that you can take to get to point, and it makes it so difficult for the defenders to watch every single angle. So yes, it is an immensely frustrating map, especially if you are not familiar with it or if you don't have a good strategy laid out for your game time. But overall, it's not that bad, and it's pretty. It's pretty to look at. So there's that.
I mean, that's really half of what you're trying to get out of a map, isn't it? But something sadly from my side, scoreboard do not have Paris set up there. Sadly, we'll get that sorted. But for now, we can just pretend that Ilios is Paris as we do move in to our third map of the night between E.N.E.D.E.N and ATK.unIDentified, and we're going to be seeing over on the defense eN.E.D.E.N coming out with a bunker of bunkers.
Wait. You picked Ilios?
It was a very, very quick decision, and I will change it very shortly. But more importantly, Baptiste Torbjorn, as well as our bot friend Bastion.
There we go. This is looking like a very dangerous bunker composition here. Eden are not playing around. They really, really want to win this next map. But it looks like Eden, or rather Unidentified, are going to be sticking with what they know, and that is spam compositions. Tons and tons of spam. Pharah and Hanzo doing as much damage as they possibly can. And once again, I would have liked to have seen a Sombra, because EMP is just
Kubler misses his shield though. That changes everything. Shapeshifter dives in, but we do see the lamp. Lamp doesn't go down yet. Kubler falls shortly after, as Sponge manages to get a lovely shot onto that. Centicle does come in. He's getting aggressive with the Torbjorn, and he does find Shapeshifter, but that's not going to stop the approach from ATK.unIDentified, although the turret trades for the Pharah, and Chad turns that trade upside down. 20 still ready on the point alongside Grifflet and Centicle. They're ready to keep them back, and it looks like they're going to keep it together even after that failed shield, Nori.
I mean, like a Luke saving the day, getting so many picks there, hook after hook after hook. He's one of those people that, he lands his hooks. That's something to be noted. He's busy hooking people through the fourth dimension, doing so much to get rid of those squishies, and that's definitely something that Unidentified are going to have to look at. A bit of an interesting hook there, like a Luke.
Trying his best. I mean, Roadhog hook is strong, but it's not that strong. Grifflet is getting spammed down. Oh my word! The hook was actually applied onto Chad, but Squishy booped out of the way, made sure nothing gets taken there. Sponge takes out 20, Kubler falls as well. Centacle Ulterior comfortable in the lamp, but Luke is busy taking a lot of damage. Centacle chasing after Michaelele, who hasn't gone down just yet, but Molten Core falls underneath him, and down he goes. The equivalent to a trade. Ulterior uses the ultimate, but it doesn't quite get anywhere. And right now, a very divided assault coming in from ATK.unIDentified. Squishy getting very low. Oh no, we go! Completely denying the whole hog by using his rocket barrage as soon as he needs it. And ATK.unIdentified potentially going to get this first point. Grifflet getting very aggressive.
E.N.E.D.E.N, or rather Unidentified, with a very, very strong push, finally using quite a few of their ultimates. The Molten Core did come out, but unfortunately there was no one really there to, like, die in it. Unidentified doing really well to stay split up. So as much as it did get the one kill, that's a very difficult ultimate to get too much value out of when you're playing against a team that's so split up. Happy to see that they are going to be swapping over onto the Moira floats here. Again, to deal with this spam. This is what I've wanted to see from like 2 maps ago. So I'm glad to see they have made that swap.
And they're going to be moving forward here. Bit of poke coming in, which I think ATK.unIdentified are a little bit favored in the poke phase. Although, healing up in no time, as Floats does. There's the Dragon Strike, landing quite comfortably. Shapeshifter takes quite a bit of damage, but he tries to deal quite a lot too. But right now, target focus is not quite a strong point of ATK.unIdentified. Like Luke in the backline, but can they take him down as Shapeshifter falls? Michaelele falls as well, and ATK.unIdentified are gonna have to back off of this one.
I mean, you talk about ult, or rather, target prioritization from Unidentified, but E.N.E.D.E.N not doing too great on that themselves. There were many split up fights happening, and I don't know, as they pushed Unidentified through that choke, it started to look like they had target prioritization. Really what happened was everyone was just kind of standing in a line, and that made it a lot easier to get those kills. I'm seeing a lot of split and divided play here, and of course, that's not how you play goats. And I'm going to emphasize that until the day I die, because now we're seeing Unidentified swapping onto floats as well, this time with the Zenyatta and not the Moira like what E.N.E.D.E.N is running, which will give them a little bit of an advantage. But again, this is about playing together. You can't be off on your own mission.
Not at all. Dizzy hopefully trying to find something with the self-destruct, unless it's going to be a dry push. Coalescence from Grifflet is here and ready to go as Graviton Surge comes out first. Down 2 players for the side of ATK.unIdentified, and like Luke, bit of a premature rally there, I think. Fights seem to be already won for them.
Doing very well here. Only using 2 ultimates. Yes, they did somewhat waste that rally, but it's not the end of the world. They do still have 4 ultimates in their bag, and 20 will be at another grab very shortly. He has been building those ultimates quite quickly on Unidentified's ult meter. They do have self-destruct, and that's about it. They will have that Transcendence very soon, which will help to deal with the eventual Graviton Surge. But hopefully, I mean, that really relies on Michaelele not using his Transcendence prematurely. He really is going to need to try his very best to hold on to it, to deal with that grab when it does pop up.
Now, playing reasonably nicely together. Hopefully they can target focus properly now, although Kubler dives right into the backline. Michaelele popping that Transcendence completely against what he said, but Luke falls before Arturia is able to slam down the beat. As we do see Shapeshifter getting a good position. 20 comes out with the Graviton Surge. Kubler's right behind him, getting a lot of cleave damage. Centacle gets out of the mech in the backline there. And here's the self-destruct from Dizzy, taking out Centacle, which is just enough to continue their push. We do see in the backline, Kubler trying to do quite a lot, but he's taking a lot of damage, and 20 is going to be dealing a lot of damage, 99%. Although, here we have from Chad using that beat, and here we go, the grab coming in from the side of ATK.unIdentified. Kubler has to fall here, but he gets out of it just in time. The supports of N.E.D.E.N doing so well to keep him alive, although Shapeshifter jumps right in there, not allowing it any longer. Like Luke pops his rally, he's going to be really good in this fight, as we do see that Sponge is no longer here. Coalescence comes out from Grifflet, and he's going to make sure that alongside 20's Graviton Surge, Michaelele has to force out the Trance. Kubler back in the fight. Shapeshifter, Michaelele looking a little bit low, but it's being thrown out and taken against the wall. Not going to be alive much longer. ATK.unIdentified finally backing off.
E.N.E.D.E.N actually managing to hold on to their point. I think I mean, that is commendable because they should have lost that fight ages ago. So for them to have been able to get back onto point and bring it back is very well done. A bit of a missed... the Graviton Surge from 20 got quite a few people, but there was no one there to kind of follow up. And something that these teams really need to be focusing on is knowing, you know, when to pull back, when to actually use those ultimates. Energy Esports, they do have 3 ultimates online here, soon to be 4, whereas Unidentified are running only 2 with absolutely no defensive ultimates. They're going to go for an offensive rally, and that could give them an advantage in the next fight.
Ooh, but there we go, the counter rally from Leg2 as soon as Sponge's one is about to end, and it has ended. Now Kubler comes in with the Primal Rage, going in deep, but he is just scored a Tentacle. Self-destruct, does not find anyone. Squishy's going to have a lot of charge now, as Chad is just being thrown around. He needs to get out of this, but Grifflet makes sure that he isn't able to escape. There's no escape from the Moira there, or from Grifflet's grasp, which is going to be a tongue twister very soon. And N.E.D.E.N pushing Unidentified extremely far here. But 25 seconds left on the clock. Can they get anything else out of this? Graviton Surge from Squishy could come in. They could possibly hold them back for a little bit and get onto the point. But they're going to take the time. They're going to take a very slow approach. 15. Nope, make that 10 seconds left on the clock. Where is my mind and where is the time, Shapeshifter? Looking like he's in a bit of trouble as Graviton Surge comes out from both sides. Self-destruct from Dizzy is possibly going to clean something up, but it doesn't quite do that as 2 players of ATK.unIDentified have fallen before the engagement has properly begun. Kubler Shapeshifter trading blows, bit of a chest bump in the middle of the fight there, and Sponge trying to get a damage down onto Tentacle, and he's so low, but Rally comes out. He's going to stay alive a little bit longer. 20, yeah, does have a lot of charge. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. Kubler in the backline comes in with the Earth Shatter to end their days, although I could be wrong. Self-destruct comes from Tentacle, does not find anyone. ATK.unIDentified, Dizzy over on the Wrecking Ball are actually doing quite a lot of work here. Leg2 extremely low. There's 4 players on him. 20 is the last one alongside Arturia left alive. Grifflet a little bit in the backline applying those Discord orbs, but it might not be enough. We're going to be seeing this map potentially end in overtime. Dizzy, Pile Driver doesn't land. He's going to be sitting on quite a lot of cooldown there, and Grifflet just trying to fire from above, but he gets taken for quite a bit of damage. We just see... Is this a Wrecking Ball race on the point? Because that's what it looks like. Does get stunned. Is that going to be enough damage to take him out? It is. Leg2 jumps onto the point. It's a bit of a tag team fight here. Is this wrestling or is this Overwatch? 20 still sitting on a lot of charge. He needs to start finding some picks, though he's not quite able to. Shapeshifter comes with self. Oop, that is not self-destruct. That's an Earth Shatter. Keeping Kubler out of the fight. Dizzy still trying to do as much work as possible in the Wrecking Ball. Arturia tries to get the boot, but here we go. Sponge comes in with another rally to close out the point. Grifflet just not quite there.
Very well played here from Unidentified, and this is kind of what I expected in that last fight when I was saying that I couldn't believe that Eden had managed to bring it back, and of course this time they weren't able to bring it back. And I really want to come down to like alt usage. That's so important, and I feel like both of these teams are really struggling with when to use ultimates, how to use ultimates. It's a bit of a mess, and I think that that's exactly why these fights kind of go flip-floppy in very random and varied results. The other thing that I want to point out is just cooldown usage. For example, I was quite impressed with the bubble usage from Unidentified, not only bubbling themselves, but also keeping teammates alive, keeping the Brigitte alive through a self-destruct, little things like that. It's so important when you're running that GOATS composition, and I'm curious to see if we're going to see that again. Okay, let's have a look at these compositions. It looks like defensively we're going to be seeing Unidentified. Okay, no, let's... Yeah. Okay, Unidentified coming through. Sorry, I am tired. It looks like we're going to be seeing that bunker comp once again. I'm curious to see... There we go. So Squishy's coming through on the Bastion, not the Torbjorn. And I am happy to note that there isn't a Torbjorn Bastion. It is just the Bastion. And then, of course, Sponge on that Hanzo. I feel like Hanzo has a little bit more utility here. And... just more that he can bring to the table than what a Torbjorn could. Yes, that turret can be quite deadly, but Torbjorn's pretty easily countered. So let's have a look at this attack. It looks like it's going to be a triple DPS. No, it's not. Okay, you got me. You got me. It's gonna be like
Tentacle just rolling right past. He's gonna hold back this, split their attention a little bit. What is Tentacle? What are you doing? He's getting away with it. Look at this. Okay, he wants to roll in. Out comes the pile driver. Kubler's there to follow up, but the rest of the team isn't quite there. Grifflet and Arturia start rolling in with them, and that is a rollout if I haven't seen one before. Chad looking a little bit low, but just flying out of there. A little bit of Angel's Grace to keep him alive. Squishy just mowing up. And what?
Hello?
Interesting.
Nani? Quadella
Wow.
what?
Well, we do see Eden take the first point on Paris for the third map of this night, and they're going to be going in with almost 7 minutes. Looks like Sentinel's Wrecking Ball is a little bit too sneaky, definitely statted into stealth this time, and Pile Driver going directly into Sponge, but not quite able to take him out. Oh no, 20 cleans him up just in time. Configuration Tank is going to be coming out from Squishy, but is he going to be able to find picks? And he finds one. He is hacked though, he's still getting healed up. Pile Driver comes in from Senticle, and I can barely see what's going on inside this room right now. Dizzy does manage to find Kubler though, that keeps their main tank out of the fight. Senticle looking very low, but Griffler's trying to keep him alive, not quite able to in this situation. And Squishy is doing a lot of damage on the Bastion to make sure that Eden are not going to be getting this point. They do have one tick already though. Are they still going to fight for the second? Because Griffler's just not falling. What was that fight, Nori?
A mess. But given how Eden capped that first point, I expected nothing less. They did commit the EMP, but unfortunately there wasn't too much follow-up once they used it. But like already halfway to another EMP, and of course they do have the Primal Rage. They've got a Pulse Bomb that they can use to possibly get down one of those squishies, and of course they're going to have the mines from the Hammond. So looking very good coming into this next fight. Unidentified not looking too great. They do have Coalescence, which could possibly keep them alive, but that self-destruct might be the opening that they need.
Talking about openings, there's the Coalescence. Sponge does get stuck, but the shield saves him. Senticle comes in with the mine pile drive combo. Shapeshift is almost down. He gets hacked and taken out. Senticle finds 2 from that ultimate, and that's a lot of value alongside both defensive ultimates being used from Eden. Here comes the self-destruct from Dizzy, not finding anyone in that situation, and right now Eden just lighting up the kill feed. Dizzy, the last one to fall of ATK.unIDentified. Shapeshifter diving right in, but Arturia boops him off. Sponge switching over to Doomfist, which he is very good at, but it's not quite enough here against the structured team from Eden. Michaelele bouncing onto point, hoping that his Moira can do something, but after that hack there's nothing much left for him. And Eden are looking so good on Paris right now, and we can see exactly why they chose this map.
That I don't have words. I don't know if Eden just played exceptionally well, or if Unidentified just had the wind knocked out of their sails and somehow just could not deal with what happened. I think they were so shaken by how Eden took that first point that when they came onto second point, it was just like, well, what do we do now? They were kind of dumbstruck at the force at which Eden was coming at them. So Energy with 5 minutes to push and get 1 tick. That's not looking too good for Unidentified.
Not at all. I mean, I'm gonna have to go back on the VOD and just get replays and replays of Senticle just rolling in. I can't even put it in any other way. I swear he had some sort of cloak on him or something. I mean, did he speak to Harry Potter a bit there? Get a bit of an invisibility cloak, just roll on in, do his business, clean up. I mean, what was that first point?
I don't know. And then, like, we had the Orisa and the Bastion chilling on bridge, and they were like, somebody's on the point. We should,
yeah, we should, yeah, I mean, I don't know, Orisa, do you want to? I mean, I'm comfortable here, right? It's good. We've got sights.
Haha, JK, unless you're down.
Yeah, so rolling out a point, Tentacle on the ball again, and like a Luke sitting on the Sombra, wanting to get into the fight as soon as possible. Ooh, Shapeshifter detecting him.
Hey, that's a good thing as well, to try and get him out of position as quickly as possible. Thankfully, he can translocate away, but that's going to use one of his
Kubler
cooldowns.
chasing him down, but Kubler does get taken out. Very good Discord coming in from Michaelele himself, and I love the crossfire that Sponge is putting up from the Torbjorn here. You can definitely see Torbjorn preferred over the Bastion, and 20 swapping over to the Widowmaker here.
Oh, I'm excited to see that Widowmaker. We did see it a little bit earlier on, but there wasn't really much time to get any effect out of it, and hopefully now we will start to see that on this attack. I'm glad to see that they are running that Sombra. Hopefully they can get a nice big EMP that will allow them to kind of push in here. 20 already up to 74% ult charge, so he's definitely doing tons of damage.
Yeah, he's landing all the shots he needs to, but he's just not getting the picks. Chad is being so slippery and making sure that the side of Squishy is kept alive, but Sponge finds 20. We see, what is that charge coming in from Kubler? Shapeshifter is so low, but Kubler is so out of position. Michael trying to chase him down as we see Coalescence come out from Grifflet himself. Chad looking very low, but actually being able to sneak out of it behind the Valkyrie. And right now Squishy trying to find Arturia. Does take Kubler like a Luke down. Grifflet finds one. Means that on the next push, Michael might not be there, but Grifflet and Senticle are just not backing off. They're staying in this fight right now.
And unfortunately, as much as 20 is doing a lot of damage, not getting picks. And that's the thing with Widowmaker, you need to be getting picks. If you're not getting picks, then you're more of a detriment to your team than anything else. Like a Luke needs to be getting a big EMP here, and they need to be getting a nice big shatter. EMP shatter could be exactly what they need to push on, but they do still have 3 minutes to go.
Shapeshifter sneaky.
I mean, with 4 ultimates for Unidentified, Luke really needs a big EMP.
I mean, talking about Luke right now, he is trying to back cap here. They do get quite a bit. Dizzy is currently hacked. Artura comes out with the sound barrier behind Kubler, throwing out a lovely Earth Shatter. But Michaelele stops that. He transcends the mere mortal Kubler as Squishy falls shortly after behind the Rocket Barrage. Grifflet comes in with another Coalescence, keeping Centicle alive. But Dizzy needs to find something to do out of this. Oh my word, what a beautiful Graviton Surge from 20. It's, I mean, well, from Centicle. Sorry about that one, but it's not enough. 20 coming in on the Tracer though. Oh my word, he could be turning this around. It's 20 versus Sponge, and Sponge takes him out. And he goes down to Kubler with the Fire Strike. Energy.E.D.E.N taking Paris and turning this into a 2-1. What an exciting map.
Kubler, your Fire Strike. 20 absolutely clutching it out there on that Tracer, and we had the Torbjorn out there trying to continue to contest it, but a beautiful Fire Strike from Kuba. I mean, I can't even control myself. Oh, that was just so good.
that was something else. That was absolutely fantastic. I mean, my emotions.
I can't handle this.
Oh my word. Okay, need to take a breather. Need to. Whew. Okay, so Energy.E.D.E.N, Tentacle over on the ball, completely blindsiding ATK.unIdentified, turning this into a 2-1. They are now on match point as ATK.unIdentified are going to be able to going to have the choice for the 4th map. But oh my word, what a map Paris was.
I'm still kind of reeling from what just happened. This is very unprecedented. I'm used to seeing from these two teams slightly more serious compositions in these games. It almost feels to me like these guys are having fun with it. It's not like a serious match. They're just kind of enjoying themselves, which I hope that is the case because it's really nice to see. And looks like for our next map we are going to be moving on to Dorado, and again Dorado has a lot of compositional options. You can get the double sniper, you can get the Pharah and a sniper, you can get your staple goats, maybe a little bit of floats. There's so much that we can see from these teams, but I'm really excited to see a little bit more interesting plays. Please guys, keep entertaining us. Y'all are great.
What more could we say to these two teams right now? Really putting the show business into esports here. I mean, going to Dorado now, a bit more serious talk here. I do think that ATK.unIdentified could have a little bit of a good time. We've seen quite a bit of these poke compositions or these sustained fire compositions or bunker comps. We might even see a Torbjorn again at this rate. But it'll be interesting to see. Of course, they do get to choose the map, which they have done, but now Energy.E.D.E.N get to decide whether they're going to be attacking or defending first, which might not seem like much to everybody, but sometimes that's exactly how you can get into the heads of your opponents. You can set the pace of the game going forward, and you're going to have to see if they utilize it that way.
Absolutely. In fact, one of the great things about defending first is that if you can get a full hold, then you kind of have a yardstick for yourself of how far you need to push. Obviously the flip side is if you're on the attack first, then you know how hard you need to defend. In a way of speaking,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the idea is a full hold, but you know where that yellow box of defeat in your own case is if you
Hmm.
are on the defense. So it can that in that sense it can create kind of a mind game of its own, but beyond that it shouldn't make a difference. Of course, that's in an ideal world.
Gonna have to agree with you there, Nori. But looking at what we have here, seems to be that Eden are opting to defend first, if I'm correct.
Let's give it a second. Possibly
Yeah, I mean, they're on the blue.
could
But blue's
could
usually defense, but there's no. Overwatch can be weird with that sometimes. You're like,
I mean, if the
they're
teams
defending.
could just load in, that would there we go.
That would be great.
Energy is in fact defending.
I'm gonna put that under my scoreboard of Jesse was correct, which is a rare occasion, but when it comes, I have to mark it down. And looking at the composition that we're going to be entering into this fight with, like, look, sticking to that Sombra, which I've seen Sombra a lot more on attack compared to defense. So I'm interested to see how this pans out. I'm sure Nori, you'll have a bit more information on this.
I mean, I'm just gonna ignore this attack. And I'm gonna look at the defense, and I'm gonna say that they are running dive tanks, which I really like. With, of course, the Sombra, and this composition has worked out quite well for Eden up until this point. 20 on that Widowmaker will be doing tons and tons of damage. And now I'll look at the attackers, who are running their standard composition, the intense spam comp. So I'm really happy to see that or rather that Energy are running the Moira, which will really help in that regard.
Ooh, and right away, Shapeshifter getting aggressive alongside Dizzy. Kubler jumps directly onto the point, allowing for 20. Just opening up all that space, and Eden are just busy rolling onto the point without the Wrecking Ball. There you have it, straight to the spawn doors. Tentacle, touch it.
Get out of my game. Energy are quite adamant here. They want this win. They're trying so hard here. Like a Luke, look how sneaky he's being. These guys really, they're hungry for it. Nothing much to talk about in the alt economy side here. What I will say is that Eden is looking poised, really poised well here on this defense. Ooh. They've got good control of the high ground, but they're giving a lot of free push to unidentified.
Like Luke, as you said, very cheeky, does shoot the corpse of Shapeshifter as Shapeshifter tries to dive him out. But, however, Tentacle's there to save him. Right now, Sponge trying to get some damage in with the Storm Arrows. Right away, Kubler jumping onto Sponge, he chases him out. And back to the spawn doors Sponge goes, although Kubler is in potentially a little bit too deep. Lots of potential health there, and he does get out of it.
Eden holding quite firmly here. That last little pick off onto Arturia is not ideal, but thankfully Arturia is a Lucio and can get back quite quickly. Unidentified are, though, going to be getting a lot of free push, but all the self-destruct. Nice!
That is great for Energy Eden here. What a lovely combo. Squishy trying to deal with this from the Widowmaker himself. Not quite able to. Tentacle just pushing out on that. And Kubler doing the same. Kind of going in front of Tentacle trying to back off here. It seems like it's enough for them to back off.
Actually, really well played there. Just creating a lot of space and not allowing Unidentified to push. Eden holding quite strong here. They've got Coalescence online. They're about to have the wall hacks, which can really help in terms of determining positioning. But Senti getting demeked this early is not good.
Ooh, looking at the fight here, Kubler, but out of position, being held back from Shapeshifter and Dizzy. He is managing to get out once again. That is one slippery gorilla. 20 trying to find hits as he starts positioning a bit further forward. He does find Michaelele, and that's what they need to stay in this fight. Kubler getting into the back line, wanting to deal with as much as possible, but Dizzy's going to do a fair amount of damage to him. Luke finds Chad in the back line. Michaelele trying to get Dizzy back up and healed. And wow.
Shapeshifter, what are you doing?
I swear these teams are in 30 places at once. Shapeshifter going in extremely deep, allowing for Luke to get picked off. But there this just not quite enough here. As Shapeshifter just gets taken out, completely blasted. Dizzy comes with self-destruct, and there's a bubble to save him. Unidentified just throwing every ultimate out that they can.
Oh
Sentinel
my
finding
God.
another 2. It's just not looking too good for them right now. This is not the attack that they would have wanted. Squishy is going to be having sight soon. Kubler, Black Luke are ready to go for another fight though.
Energy are looking so good right now, so much better than what they were looking, you know, on the previous couple of maps. Whereas before it seemed like a bit of a panicked attempt to achieve something. Here they're looking a lot cleaner, they're making better decisions, and they are holding strong. Just a few seconds left here, Cloud. Can Unidentified get to this first point?
Oh, a lot of it is going to be weighted on Squishy trying to deal 20 here as they do enter into the choke. EMP comes out from Luke. Chad is looking extremely low. Kubler does manage to find it, and there we go. Primal Rage from Kubler is going to make sure that Sponge is not going to be able to do anything at all as we see him leaping over, taking out Squishy as well. So much awareness of exactly where ATK.unIdentified's players are, and down they fall. Dizzy, demeched, and taken out shortly after. Ed.E.N looking so good on Dorado right now.
Ridiculously good, in fact, and this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, the advantage of getting to defend first, because now Eden know they need to just move it an itty bitty little amount and they can win, and that can sometimes influence the kind of composition you're going to run. Are you going for a blitz attack composition? Are you going for a sustain composition? What will you do? What decisions will you make in order to get that payload to where it needs to be, and for Energy to take, I believe if they win this one, they will win out the series.
To my understanding, that is 100% correct. As we have seen before, Ed.E.N undefeated throughout a leg, and I don't think this one will be any different if they do manage to take Dorado. Although, 62 meters, 61.75 if I have to be exact, it's not too much keeping them away from that.
I mean, it's such a short distance to travel. I'm actually expecting for a bit of a blitz composition from Eden. Get in, kill things, move that payload. So let's have a look here. They are going to be running like a look potentially on the Roadhog. And I do hope they stick with that because he has been doing a lot of good work with it. Over on Unidentified, we're going to be seeing the May goats. And May is very good on this point, on this first point in particular, just for the amount of walls that she can create, chokes that she can block off, using that wall to deny space. And of course, the endothermic blaster with the massive freezing capabilities. It's a really good pick to be using overall. And I'm really sad to see that Leica Lucas swapped onto the Pharah instead, and they're running a composition similar to the weirdness that they ran. Okay, you know what, Luke? Get out.
Just don't look at the attackers. It's just not going to go well for you.
Bruh.
Specifically not Luke. But over here, I actually quite like the composition that we are seeing from ATK.unIdentified, but they need to start doing something, and they need to do it now. That payload is getting so close, and look at this. As soon as it hits the 30-meter mark, that's already halfway there. This is every few seconds, split seconds that are passing now. They're getting closer and closer to that golden circle. Shapeshifter jumps down, Sponge jumps down, Dizzy jumps down, and right now Luke misses the hook. They're going to be entering this fight right, and Kubler does fall. Squishy's trying to find something with his May, but having to back off just a little bit. 3 minutes still on the clock. Luke, Grifflet does fall. Great wall from Squishy, but just not great enough. It could have been better. I'll give you a B- there.
A for effort.
Oh yeah, 100%. But let us see an S next time. We need to see that triple S wall, Centicle, pushing forward,
right,
trying to get aggressive.
Ulti wise, I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Shapeshifter does have that Earth Shatter, and if he gets it off at just the right time, then that's going to be able to allow them to hold for a little bit longer. Eden, unfortunately, not looking as hot. They are going to have to wait just a little bit
There's
longer.
the Earth Shadow! Knocks down 4 players! Are they going to be able to follow up with this? But looks like none of them are going to fall just yet. Chad actually booping Centicle away just to make sure that they can hold it a little bit longer. But in the backline, Kubler with the sneaky Earth Shadow, it lands, but Michaelele takes him down before there's enough of a follow-up. Blizzard comes down from the side of Squishy, and it looks like ATK.unIdentified are going to keep it together a little bit longer. Another C- wall coming up, but it could actually be pretty good. Here comes a Graviton Surge. Dizzy, self-destruct, but 20 clearing ATK.unIdentified out with his attack visor. And it just does not look like ATK.unIDentified are going to be able to come back to this. Shapeshifter tries his best, but Ed.E.N are going to take it 3-1 tonight.
Very well played. Those first couple of maps looked so weird, and somehow Dorado looked like the most serious map out of all. It's like finally these teams kind of woke up and realized what they needed to do, particularly Eden. As the series progressed, it started out with them looking like an absolute mess. They were split up. Their ult usage was awful. They were really playing quite badly. And as the series progressed, they picked it up and they brought it back. Unidentified started out looking strong, but unfortunately, once Eden hit the petrol, they just weren't able to deal with the onslaught. So quite unfortunate for Unidentified, but great for Eden, I guess. They carry on with their insane streak.
I mean, nothing's holding them back now at all. They can just keep going. Something with Eden, once you give them momentum, as you said, they're going to step on the gas, they're going to put the petrol on, and they're going to come running right at you. Something I have to point out there, though, just as we saw Shapeshifter come in with an exquisite Earth Shatter, we just see Kubler hiding in the back, and he does the same, completely winning it for his team. He goes down, but sometimes you have to be the martyr that falls so that your team can get the win. And as you said, Ed.E.N reign once again above everybody else in the South African Overwatch scene.
But as we've said quite a few times in various broadcasts over the past couple of weeks, the gap is closing. We are seeing that more and more every single day. There are upsets every week, and things are starting to really heat up in the local scene. So I'm really excited to see more of these teams going forward as we make our way towards playoffs, which are in 3 months, 4 months.
I'm just gonna keep going. 5 months, 6 months. I'm not 100. Yeah, I'm quite sure it's 4 months. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's 4. So it is encroaching. Every day we're getting a little bit closer. Each month is another month falling towards the playoffs. And I mean, right now Premier Division is pretty damn stacked. I think it's more stacked than it ever has been before. From the teams that are coming up and the new teams and the old teams and all that. So it's going to be interesting seeing where that goes. As you say, the difference between teams is closing up, and I cannot wait to see what playoffs will be looking like. It's going to be absolutely insane. But for tonight, Nori, thank you so much for joining me on the cast. Where can people find you on the social medias?
Twitter at Nari Mizuki. Hey. In fact, anywhere where you want to find me, just search Nari Mizuki. You'll probably find me.
Well, there you have it, guys. Not that hard to find. From my side, it is Cloudburst. You can find me as JM Cloudburst or Cloudburst Casts. I'll be one of the two, one of the platforms. I don't even know at this point. But that is us for tonight. Thank you so much to ATK Arena for giving us the space to cast here. And thank you so much to the teams for giving us one hell of a show. Thanks to you viewers for sticking around. Good night.
Bye-bye.